driving with my two four-legged friends to the top of the trail at Barossa. And on days when Dennis and Peggy don't come, we start about an hour earlier. And so you can see it's just exactly 6 o'clock. So everybody's excited. Today's a day when we're going to talk a lot about nature. There is a very powerful petition that we want to be part of, and I'll talk about that on video a little bit later this morning about preserving our bee populations. It's an absolute stunning sunrise here. As we go through the Wish Bottom and go on. So it turns out that a very, very powerful pesticide company wants to do everything possible to not force, but compel us to use this particular pesticide that has on all of our crops. And at the end of the day, England is still pretty much a agricultural country. I mean, we do grow almost everything here. And they want us to use this very deadly and heavy pesticide to increase their crop yields. But one of the things that it does is it wipes out vast bee populations. Now, all this vegetation, all these trees, grasses, the thousands of species of things you find up here, not just in Barossa Common, but everywhere, only grow because they get pollinated by bees. And if we don't have bees, we don't have most of this. We're up on the very top of Barossa, where as you can see, along the top of the fence that separates out the Royal Military Academy from the place where the people are allowed to go. And you'll see right in the distance what's called the red flagpole. And when there's live fire exercises, they have the red flag up there to make sure that you know not even to think about going in that area, which is probably a smart thing to do. But one of the things that you'll notice outside of my panting and the panting of the dogs is how incredibly quiet it is up here, which is one of the reasons why we love coming up here. And of course you can see the sun starting to stream through the trees. But it's quiet, except that you can hear the incredible range of birds singing. And often right over there on the other side of the fence there's a woodpecker. He's obviously asleep this morning. And then we can hear the cuckoo birds when we come down the hill. But all of those are dependent on the hierarchy and order in the food chain in the world that we live. And so this thing about the bees is just shockingly important. And I don't know if they are wanting to put this through because they think some of us won't notice or what. But it's an incredibly important thing that we get every person out who can sign a petition. Because the one thing we do know about our democratic process is that petitions do work. They do draw the public's attention to what's going on. And speaking of public's attention, I've managed to stroll into the middle of some of the army exercises, so we'll probably be putting this away. I've just seen one of the military scouts go through, completely camouflaged, and bizarrely, some of the times when you come through here, you just be walking along and everything looks perfectly calm and quiet. And then suddenly 20 guys stand up out of the ferns. So you can see the ferns actually provide them some incredible coverage when they're up here training. Usually we would expect to find on weekends when they're doing operations for their support vehicles, particularly if it's cadets or territorial army training, to be up here. And we don't I don't see any, but it does look like there's a bivouac tent way out through the trees there. Definitely we don't see anybody here this morning, but we do know that they don't travel alone, so wherever there's one, there's many. We still haven't managed to see any of the trainees or soldiers, but what we do know is that Murphy is off like a shot, and our Labrador Murphy has an incredible nose, and if there's something out there, he'll find it. And so he's gone down to the right, so I think he's definitely found something. So the guys must be camped up under the forest canopy facing Wish Bottom. So I'm sure we'll come across them eventually. So not only is it very quiet out here, you can sort of hear the drone of civilization in the distance. After you're out here enough, you sort of drown it out mentally. But we have heard a couple of pretty rare birds, and I think one of them is the actual Dartford warbler. But where those important nesting birds are is generally out to the right of me, and you can sort of see that area out there. It's heavily encrusted with undergrowth, and the dogs and deer don't even go out there, so some of our environmentalists are a bit off the edge in terms of trying to protect things that in nature don't need protecting. So you can sort of see Murphy way out in the distance. So we'll go through the hills and valleys and you'll see him way up at the other side. If he gets the smell of the deer, so there must be some deer out there, or squatties. Anyway, now he's given up and he's coming back. So from here you can sort of get a bit of a view for the really thick undergrowth where a bunch of these nesting birds live. And I have to say, they live so far out into the undergrowth, and the undergrowth is so large that dogs and man really have no possibility of interrupting their breeding cycle or anything else. Certainly they have a greater chance of being interrupted by hawks and birds of prey and the things that you'd find everywhere else in nature that are going to want to prey. So our great tradition when we come down to the bottom part of our walk to the last crossing of the Wish Stream is that we all get in and take our bath. Hey, come on, get back in. Get in. So what this does is gets all the mud off before we get in the car, which is marvelous. Okay, boys, here we go. Is one of our oldest and most venerated doctors in all of Camberley, who is always out here on the weekend mornings, and is a great believer in preserving the wilderness. Hello, boys and girls. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, doctor. Hello, girl. How you doing this morning? Here's a good old girl.
Very nice one, isn't it?
Oh, it is stunning out here, doctor. Absolutely stunning. I'm filming different parts of the trees.
What is it? A camera?
It's an iPhone.
What you do with it now? I didn't feel nearly such a fool.
That happens.
And then I said, can I send text on it? I think half their day's work's taken up with silly old gents coming
Like you.
asking how they work.
Asking stupid questions.
They're terribly patient and nice.
Have a great morning, doctor. As you can see, we know most of the other dog walkers out here. That's one of those things where you, if you're out here enough, you just meet them and talk to them and hear their concerns about the wilderness and what we're doing. And you know, here's a guy that has been around for a whole lot of decades, and he's concerned, very concerned. So we're just coming to the end of the trail, and even if it rains this afternoon, it's still going to be a great day because it was a great start to the day.